Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, wa bihi nasta'in ala umuri dunya waddin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wa mursalin, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all participants and panelists of this very prestigious sessions of World Islamic Trade Forum. We are entering into a very unprecedented situations whereby we have to live by a pandemic in the world today, and how do we take a wisdom in the light of this special month of Ramadan, and how do we take a hikmah from all this pandemic. I'd like to also especially acknowledge Bapak Fazil Irwan Som, His Excellency Dr. Salim bin Muhammad, Madam Ramata Almami, Mr. Zikri Khalil, my friend Mr. Chia Chuan Yong, His Excellency Mr. Yerlan, and Professor Said, good friend of mine from all over the world who have been here today. If I'd like to share a few words, I'd like to put it on a slide that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam guide us about a plague some 1,400 years ago, way before the era of Industrial Revolutions 4.0, way before the modern science as well as modern medical technology. And his guidance was, when you hear that a plague is in a land, do not go to it. Do not go to it. But rather, if it occurs in a land that you are already in, then do not leave it or fleeing from it. The Prophet has famously said, which is now the definitions of a lockdown or a territorial quarantine. It is the principle of modern quarantine. What it has been currently practiced, our Prophet has urged us to eliminate the element of contact to save lives. The concept of social physical distancing is already some 1,400 years ago been taking example from the prophecy of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Currently, we are practicing the wisdom and prophetic traditions in the context of modern, borderless, and digitized society. There is a clear multifaceted disruptions after a global social and physical distancing. We're seeing a health crisis turn into a social crisis. And in some part of the world, it is already a very concrete economic crisis that we're facing. Some sectors got the worst hit, including travel. I am very, very sad for my friends who have been investing in the travel industry, leisure, and most of the services. But some do prevail, like health, digital, and basic goods. This is almost like saying that one door is closing while the other doors is opening. It's behind one difficulties, actually there are a lot of opportunities. It is also taking from the Chinese character of Wei Qi, whether it's a two words together. Wei is danger and Qi is opportunity. Also, we remind ourselves in Surah Al-Insirah, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْأُسْرِ أُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا, that behind difficulties there are actually a lot of opportunities, a lot of help that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide us. 1.25 billion people. 1.25, it's almost 20%, 20-25% of our populations will be affected. These workers are at risk of being laid off, while 500 million people worldwide are at the risk of falling into poverty. The progress that has been made for the last 10 to 20 years have been wiped out in the last 1 month of this pandemic. So this is upon us to increase our collaborations within the premise of World Islamic Trade Forum to ensure that our activities will take care of this huge problem that many countries are facing. The increase in unemployment globally will directly lead to purchasing power of food, because we are seeing that people who lost their job will not be able to get their income. And once they don't have income, they cannot bring food to the table. Especially countries with high food imports, they are vulnerable to changes in food prices. Most countries are in Asia and Africa. We need to mitigate this global unemployment as well as threat to food supply and prices. And this is whereby we together gather to put our thoughts together. Our collective thoughts must really how we can solve these two issues that are being faced by many of our brothers and sisters. We are all in this together, although some of the rhetorics coming from this crisis may have made us somewhat divided, but these cross-border issues should not really be dominating the headline, whereby there are too many blaming, too many finger pointings. We need to work together, all the countries together, especially within the World Islamic Trade Forum, within the Quadruple Helix Cooperations. And I think this is the time that we need to focus on innovations. Innovations is required for us. And humanities is always known for its ability to adapt, the ability to innovate out of a crisis. And sure, the Islamic traditions have put science and rational response towards pandemic very, very clear, as what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have already been shown us through his hadith. We need to be guided by data, and those data must come from the experts, from the scientists, from doctors, from people who are in the front line. This pandemic is compelling governments and societies to turn towards digital technologies to respond to the crisis. I remember Mr. Fazil was saying that we need to have a pre-event for this World Islamic Trade Forum. But because of COVID-19, we are postponing. And I said that why don't we do it virtually? Why don't we do it online? And today, 70 participants are here within this purview of this virtual platform, and many, many more through the social media channels that have been broadcasting this live. So, adopting technologies, making sure societies really taking this turn how to embrace digital and respond to the crisis really made me very, very optimistic. In turns, government needs also to make full use of data, full use of digital technologies, and all the policies that will be taken in the next months and years to come must be based on data. A data-driven policy must prevail in this COVID-19 pandemic. This pandemic has brought also a concept of remote everything, as digital mainstreaming is a key to bridge our physical distance, our new normal or reality. I'd like to close this with an optimistic tone. A lot of people ask, are we not going back to the old normal? I think this is time for us to think that Hijrah is the way that we're going. And through World Islamic Trade Forum, we are exactly doing Hijrah into a better next normal, whereby trade will be done in a fair manner, and it will also be done to support employment as well as providing goods, in particular food, to some of our brothers and sisters at affordable prices, and will continue to be profitable for us in terms of pushing this trade agenda going forward. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, ni'mal maula wa ni'mal nasir, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil alil azim. I gather here together with all of you. Let's put our efforts together. Let's be united to fight COVID-19, and let's continue to revive the world by focusing on the Islamic trade. And through this forum, this is the first step, and I'm really excited that we're embarking to this new journey. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq walidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.